When Luka Doncic gets rolling like this to open a game, it completely sets the tone, because there really isn't anything a defense can do with that level of sheer shot making.
While I was waiting for the rebound, I got a cheap shot. I ain't afraid of nobody. I'm just gonna stand and let it go. The ref was right there. I don't understand how we couldn't call a foul on that one. But you know, that's what the game is about. Sometimes it's gonna get physical. There's a lot of trash talking.
You're not supposed to be able to do this in the NBA. You're just not. Building a big three in today's league, where everyone eats, where egos stay in check, where the basketball actually moves, that's supposed to be impossible. The Lakers didn't just do it anyway. They made it look easy. 13-4. Let that sink in for a second. The Los Angeles Lakers are 13-4, sitting pretty as the 2 seed in the bloodbath that is the Western Conference. And they've assembled what might be the most dangerous offensive trio we've seen this season. Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Austin Reaves. 3 legitimate creators. 3 guys who can take over games. 3 players who somehow figured out how to share the same basketball without turning this thing into a train wreck. And when they played the Clippers, oh man, when they played the Clippers, we got a masterclass in what happens when a legitimate big three fires on all cylinders at the exact same time. The scoreboard read 135 points when the final buzzer sounded. 135! The Clippers' defense got absolutely dismantled, torn apart possession after possession, and there was nothing, absolutely nothing they could do about it. This wasn't just a win, this was a statement. This was the Lakers looking around the Western Conference and asking one simple question: you're ready for this? Because here's the thing nobody wants to talk about. Luka Doncic is playing a different sport right now. Not the same Luka we saw last season, huffing and puffing through the fourth quarter, settling for step backs because he couldn't blow by his man anymore. No, this is a completely transformed version of the Slovenian superstar, and it's absolutely terrifying. His conditioning is noticeably better. You can see it in transition. You can see it in how he's attacking the rim with purpose instead of settling. You can see it in how he's sustaining aggression for far longer stretches without gassing out. Last season, Luka would give you those nuclear quarters and then disappear. This season, he's locked in for 35 minutes of pure domination. Against the Clippers, he opened the game like a man possessed. Cross-court dart to Rui for the open 3, perfect screen on Zubac, catch and shoot, 3, splash. Then he gets James Harden on a switch, hits him with the step back, and buries another like it's nothing. Just casual superstar stuff. But he wasn't done. Way behind the hash mark, feeling himself, Luka pulls up for a heat check that had no business going in. The kind of shot that makes coaches grab their clipboards and scream at the television. And of course it dropped, because when Luka gets in that zone, the laws of basketball physics just stop applying.
This version of Luka doesn't just put the ball in the basket. He pressures the game in ways he was not doing just a year ago. This is where he becomes impossible.
First quarter, Luka rotates over, blocks James Harden at the rim. Yeah, you read that right. Luka playing defense, then gets the ball back from Marcus Smart, goes coast to coast, and finishes through contact. That's the kind of two-way athletic play that you never saw from him last season. The kind of play that makes general managers around the league check their phones nervously, wondering if they made the right moves. But here's where it gets really unfair for defenses. When Luka isn't scoring, he's orchestrating. When he's not putting up shots, he's picking defenses apart like a surgeon with a scalpel. Second half against the Clippers, he started leaning heavily into his playmaking bag. Beautiful cut to LeBron for the and one. Pick and roll with Jackson Hayes, punishes Ryan Dunn for cheating off Austin Reaves, spray pass to the corner, Reaves knocks it down. Then back to Hayes in the pick and roll, notices Zubac playing too high, throws it upstairs for the easy finish.
Luka set the tone early in this game as a scorer and then closed the door as a passer. And that's the exact reason why he is impossible to try and game plan again.
You can't guard this. You literally cannot game plan for a player who can score 40 on your head or pass you into oblivion depending on what mood he's in. Send extra bodies, he'll find every weak spot on the floor. Play him straight up, he'll walk into whatever shot he wants. When Luka's feeling it, you're basically cooked either way. But, and this is the crucial part, Luka isn't carrying this team alone. This isn't a one-man show. This isn't 2018 LeBron dragging corpses to the finals. This is a legitimate big three where all 3 guys are eating, thriving, and making each other better in the process. Austin Reaves has completely blossomed into an all-star level scorer. Let me throw some numbers at you that should make everyone who slept on this kid feel silly. Last season, 25 points, 6 assists on 60% true shooting. This season, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists on 64% true shooting. That's not just improvement, that's a mammoth leap into the stratosphere. Against the Clippers, Reaves dropped 31 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals, while shooting nearly 70% from the floor. 70%! The game has slowed down for him completely. With all the defensive attention gravitating toward Luka and LeBron, Reaves is either playing one-on-one against mismatches or catching defenses still scrambling after helping somewhere else. And then there's LeBron, year 22. 40 years old in a few weeks, still reinventing himself, still finding ways to impact winning basketball.
That's the version of LeBron James that this team needs. He's not the guy who's going to carry an offense for 40 minutes every night anymore, and he knows it. But if he's your third option, stepping into a Draymond Green type connector role on the offensive side of the floor, while still being able to give you 20 points whenever he wants, that is absolutely terrifying.
LeBron's fully embraced this new role, and it's beautiful to watch. Against the Jazz in his first game back, he dished out 12 assists in just 28 minutes, his highest assist total in nearly a calendar year. He wasn't forcing anything, wasn't trying to prove he's still that guy. He just slid in, connected everything, and made the whole machine run smoother. Against the Clippers, he blended it all together. 25 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 stocks on 60% shooting. When he shared the floor with Luka, LeBron slid into that secondary initiator role beautifully. When he ran with Reaves, he wasn't forcing anything as a scorer, just picking his spots, quarterbacking the offense like a coach on the floor. For the first time in years, LeBron isn't being asked to save possessions. He's being instructed to organize them. And because his usage rate is lower, he's picking his scoring spots with purpose instead of obligation. His job is to raise the IQ of every possession and make life incredibly easy for everybody else out there. And so far, he's done a fantastic job. But let's pump the brakes for just a second. Let's not get carried away and crown this team champions just yet. Because even with all the offensive firepower, all the synergy, all the beautiful basketball, there are cracks, real, legitimate concerns that separate this Lakers squad from being a true contender versus just being a really good team. First issue, the defense. They gave up 36 points in the first quarter against Utah when LeBron returned, then another 38 against the Clippers in the opening frame. That's not scheme problems, that's execution. The breakdowns are constant, the rotations are sloppy, and the effort isn't there consistently. They're 15th in defensive rating, allowing 115 points per 100 possessions. Now here's what's wild. They're the #1 clutch time defense in basketball this season. When they lock in, when the game matters, when it's winning time, they transform into a completely different team. But you can't just flip a switch and expect to win a championship. You need consistency. You need to be able to defend for 48 minutes, not just the last 5. Second issue, turnovers. The Lakers are 26th in the NBA in turnover rate, giving up the ball on 16.3% of their possessions. That's basically a 1 in 6 chance that the play ends with the ball going in the other direction. And because this roster isn't built to stop transition, those turnovers often turn into pick sixes, automatic points for the opposition. The good news? They only had 11 turnovers against the Clippers, their best mark in a while. But they need to continue trending in that direction, because championship teams don't hand out momentum every couple of possessions. Third issue, Luka's relationship with the step-back 3. It's lethal when it's falling, we all know this, but the problem is, what happens when it isn't? Since November 10th, he's taking 10.5 threes a game at just 30%. That's massive volume with mediocre efficiency. And because those shots are coming early in the clock, they break the flow of an offense that thrives when Luka attacks and gets into the paint.
When Luka gets downhill, the entire offensive system opens up for everybody else, including him. But when Doncic settles, possessions die, and these long step-back threes turn into long rebounds, which then turn into transition looks for your opponent.
Nobody's saying he should stop taking the shot, but there's a difference between getting to the step back when the defense is giving it to you versus settling for that look because you don't want to attack. And right now, Luka's settling a bit too often. So, can the Lakers actually become a legitimate threat in the West? Can they go from being a fun, exciting team to a genuine championship contender? Here's what we know. They started 12-4 without LeBron for that entire stretch. They survived cold shooting nights and injuries while still producing one of the league's most effective offenses when Luka was on the floor. And now with LeBron back, we're already seeing what this trio can do when they're all cooking. 99 points and 22 assists against the Clippers in a game that never felt like it was in jeopardy. But championship teams aren't defined by what they look like when shots are falling, they're defined by how they survive the ugly games. And quietly, that's where this Lakers team has been elite. They're 6-0 in clutch games this season. 6-0. They have the best clutch time defense in the NBA. They've already won games this year where they looked absolutely awful for stretches. That second game against Utah, perfect example. The Lakers went from dropping 140 in a blowout to barely surviving 108-106. The shooting completely evaporated, just 26% from three. Luka, LeBron, and Reaves combined to shoot 4 of 24 from deep. The focus wasn't there. They played down to the competition, lost their defensive discipline, let the game get messy late, and they still found a way to win. That's the sign of a great team, surviving the ugly nights and still pulling out wins. The crazy part? This still isn't their final form. The defense hasn't clicked consistently, the three-point shooting is way below where it should be. They've dealt with more injuries than anybody in the league. And even with all of that chaos, they're 13-4, sitting as the 2 seed in the Western Conference.
If they are able to tighten up that defense more consistently, clean up the turnovers, and keep building the chemistry with LeBron in this new connector-type role on offense, then yes, I think they can absolutely become a legitimate problem in the West.
The pieces are there. The talent is undeniable. Luka is playing the best basketball of his career. LeBron has fully embraced his new role as the connector and facilitator. Austin Reaves has emerged as a legitimate all-star caliber scorer. The offense, when clicking, is completely unguardable. But championship teams aren't built on potential. They're built on consistency, execution, and the ability to impose their will when games get tight and ugly. The Lakers have shown flashes of that ability. 6-0 in clutch games isn't a fluke. Having the #1 clutch time defense isn't an accident. The question isn't whether the Lakers have enough talent. They clearly do. The question is whether they can put it all together consistently enough to survive a 7-game series against the elite teams in the West. Can they defend for 4 quarters instead of just 5 minutes? Can they value the basketball and stop giving teams free transition opportunities? Can Luka balance his step-back addiction with attacking downhill? Those are the questions that will determine whether this Lakers squad is just a fun regular season story or a legitimate championship contender. Right now, they're trending in the right direction. The big three is real. Luka is dominating at a level we've never seen before. And the rest of the NBA better start taking them seriously, because ready or not, the Lakers are coming.